pleasure to be here, but I wish we were here under better news. The announcement from the Department of Healthcare and Family Services places a major hole in an already challenging budget year, nearly $1 billion hole going forward as we look as legislators in the General Assembly to do our duty as the fiscal stewards of the state's resources. And so I just want to remind everyone, it's really disappointing that we've arrived at this moment now, years later. And as Leader Hammond said, within 1 month of the implementation of this program, we had already exceeded the available appropriation for this initiative. And yet, year after year, we saw the majority party continuing to double down on these expansions that, as was mentioned, are not eligible for federal matching funds. You know, the Medicaid program in the state of Illinois is our biggest area of spending, and we have to work creatively all the time to think about how we can bring in additional funds to float this program to provide important services to people that need them throughout the state of Illinois. That leveraging of federal dollars is absolutely crucial, and it becomes more important than ever as all of the federal spending related to the pandemic is being turned off. And so this budget year is particularly difficult, and as we see within the Medicaid program, the loss of additional federal matching funds compounds the difficulties that we're facing. Earlier this morning, several of us participate in a working group called the Medicaid Work Group, a bipartisan, bicameral work group, where just this morning we heard earnest requests from many different healthcare providers, organizations seeking assistance for pediatric care or behavioral health services or oncology services. We have requests that would rack up to tens of millions of dollars just this morning, hundreds of millions of dollars, and certainly billions of dollars that we will not be able to accommodate because of the $1 billion hole that is placed in this program. And that's just now, just the beginning, with concern about additional expansion efforts that may be pursued by the Democratic Party and Democratic legislators upstairs. So it is time that we have some adults in the room, and we need to exercise some fiscal responsibility. So we are here today calling for a pause. We have to hit the pause button on this program before it's too late. So this morning we have introduced, I've sponsored House Resolution 220. It would do two things. First, we're calling for a full audit of this program to provide Medicaid-like services to the undocumented immigrant community. We need to have a full accounting of dollars that have been spent so far, why our projections and estimates have been so far off track in the previous years, and an understanding of where we may go in this program in the future. We have major need for reforms in this area, and to do it, we need to do what should have been done at the beginning, have a full auditing and understanding of these potential costs. So that's the first part of H.R. 220. The second is a moratorium that needs to begin immediately. We have to push the pause button. We cannot accept any further enrollments into this program because I worry very greatly, and all of us do, that we are extending a benefit that will be unsustainable in the future. So let's hit the pause button. Let's make sure that the hole is not dug any deeper here. And let's send a message to the rest of the General Assembly that we need to work together on this topic and exercise fiscal responsibility so that important programs to protect the most vulnerable are actually sustainable year over year over year. So House Resolution 220 should shine a light on where we need to go forward. We're filing it now in plenty of time as the rest of the budget talks continue moving forward. They need to move forward on a more bipartisan basis, but it's important that we raise this point now and not do what we've seen in years past by the majority party, introducing things literally at the 11th hour with no discussion, with no input from some of the committee structures or appropriation organizations that should be vetting these ideas before they're lumped into a budget and urge passage within a moment's notice with the legislature.